The escalating conflict between Israel and Iran has not only sent ripples across Middle East but ripples across the entire world. This is going to change the way we are going to see geopolitics in the near future, and no country stands to be affected more than the country of India. By sharing rich cultural heritage with them, vested economic interest, and a large diaspora in this region, India is threading a dangerous path in diplomacy. Join me in this journey as we see the multifaceted way in which the Israel-Iran conflict is going to affect India. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, Everything with Dr. James. Today we are going to see how this Israel-Iran conflict is affecting India's economy, export, import, as well as the internal stability. To understand the impact of the Israel-Iran conflict on India, we need to understand the profound reliance of India on the Middle East. The first thing is, we all know that India imports totally 90% of its crude oil, of which 40% comes from the Middle East. We might all think the problem is between Israel and Iran only. India can get oil from the other countries in the Middle East. This is where the Strait of Hormuz comes into play. This narrow strait is situated between Iran and Oman, and it connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman, and it eventually goes into the Arabian Sea. This route is a major route of import of oil into India. This Strait of Hormuz at the narrowest point is just 20 nautical miles from Iran. Any problem comes, Iran, what it usually does is, first is it blocks this Strait of Hormuz. So what happens is, when this Strait of Hormuz is blocked, they have to take a longer route which will cause severe strains on cost. We might all think India can go through the Red Sea and bring the oil, but here in this Red Sea, the problem is the Houthis supporting Palestinians are already attacking the ships which are coming there, because of which ships are already forced to go through Africa, and it has already increased the cost. If this Strait of Hormuz is blocked by Iran, the oil prices will increase dramatically. Already after last week's attack of Israel on Iran and Iran giving back it to Israel, the oil prices have increased by more than 7%, and India has oil reserves for only 74 days. This blockage of strait, or very news that this strait might be blocked, will increase the import duty, fiscal deficit. And another vicious cycle which can happen is, when these oil prices are increased, the cost to transport food and other basic amenities will increase, because of which there will be inflation, and the price of this food and basic amenities will also increase, which will have a severe strain on our economy. India maintains a strategic relationship with Israel in the form of defense technology, and with Iran in the form of export and imports. So when a conflict bursts between these two countries, India has to walk a very fine line, balancing its diversity such that they don't offend either of the countries. Till now, in any conflict between two countries, India has taken a policy of strategic autonomy, meaning not siding with any of the countries and maintaining a neutral track. Now, there is pressure from the West to India to condemn the attacks by Iran. But India has to maintain a diplomacy with Iran such that their export and imports are not affected. So what trade relation does India have with Iran? In comes the Chahbar port. This port, situated in the southeastern region of Iran at the mouth of the Strait of Hormuz, facing the Gulf of Oman, is just strategically located 170 kilometers from the Ghavdar port of Pakistan. This port has two parts. One is the Kalantari port and the second is the Behesti port. In 2003, India actually wanted to build some decks in the Behesti port, but because of economic sanctions on Iran that time, India couldn't build it. In 2016, they re-signed this memorandum of understanding to build some decks in this Behesti port area. So why does India want to build this, and what is the importance of the Chahbar port? This Chahbar port serves as a gateway of India into Central Asia to countries like Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. So what happens is India, if they want to transport something to Afghanistan, what they do is they transport through the sea and it enters the Strait of Hormuz, goes to this Chahabar port. From there is a 240-kilometer road from the port directly into Afghanistan where they can export their products like wheat. So there is a three-way memorandum of understanding between India, Iran and Afghanistan regarding this, such that the exports of India can reach Afghanistan easily. So because of this war, this way can be affected, and India is trying to corner Pakistan by a way of encirclement, that is to compete against the China-Pakistan economic dominance. So because of which India has ports on its side also and on the other side also, which will help India to bolster its export needs. So India has invested billions in this Chahabar port. So in this conflict, if that port is affected, India's exports into Central Asia can be affected, which will have a severe strain on our country's economy. India has 9 million expats working in Middle East who every year contribute to millions of dollars in our country's economy, which will be affected if this conflict goes on. Also, there are 18,000 Indians living in Israel and 10,000 Indians who are living in Iran whose safety is questioned now because of this conflict. In the past, India has conducted major evacuation operations to bring our citizens back into our country. For example, the Operation Rahat, which happened in 2015 in Yemen, when India brought back its citizens from Yemen when Saudi Arabia attacked them. Also, India stands to lose its ambitious project of the India, Middle East and Europe economic corridor, which can be affected if this instability prolongs for a long time. Another problem which India can face is that this prolonged conflict can lead to radicalization within certain groups in India, which can cause internal security problems, and a prolonged conflict can cause regional instability, which will cause many players there to come back to India, which will cause major problems in internal security of our country. India's response for this Israel-Iran conflict has been one to call for immediate de-escalation and to sort out for a peaceful resolution. India is currently working on a strict diplomacy such that they don't take sides and they follow their policy of strategic autonomy and don't offend Israel as well as Iran. On the other hand, India is also planning for contingency measures such that if things get out of hand, it can evacuate its own citizens back into our country safely. The third thing India is doing is diversify its oil imports. So we all know from the recent past that India is trying to increase its oil imports from Russia also, but that has not been enough. So India is looking at alternate energy needs. Force the other BRICS country and the G20 countries to bring Israel and Iran to table and bring this to a peaceful resolution. The Israel-Iran conflict has been one of the most difficult and challenging foreign policy and economic interest of India in recent memory. India has to balance between its vested economic interests, the safety of its citizens, and its policy of strategic autonomy. This is going to be a litmus test for India's ambitions in the global stage. Do like, share and subscribe me for more interesting videos like this.